First episode we had with us Aditya, who had a story of, whom we discussed. When we discussed with him, it was his story of self-acceptance, self-love. uh, Today we have someone again very special with us.
I'll just give a quick intro before we start. So she's Hoora, like I was saying, someone who's lived her life based on choices and decisions based on self-love and her self-respect and dignity. So there has been times, I think decades ago, when you hit rock bottom in terms of your personal life and health, but you did not give up.
I did, yes. Not at all.
Right, and then that
never give up, and never give up. Yes.
Yes. So that is when spirituality came into your life, and you use that to where you are today. I mean, I think it's a very, very inspiring story. So how about you telling us in short what your story is, so that people have an idea where we are coming from.
Okay. So I mean, okay, I'll start. Let you know where my spiritual path started. Okay, so that you follow from that part. Otherwise, it'll be too long a story. Okay.
Right.
I got married in, I think, in the late 80s or mid 80s. Okay. And so my ex-husband and I were both mentally incompatible. So at that point in time, I went to live in another country, which was far from where I had lived. And it was a totally different lifestyle. And I mean, it was something very alien. I had nobody there, and we just were mentally incompatible. And that's when I had so much time. That's when I started reading the Bhagavad Gita. And that gave me a lot of strength and a lot of knowledge to pursue the right path, and always when you're down and when you look into yourself and use spirituality as a guide to lead you, you always find the right path. That's what I've learned. Okay. So, I mean, in a couple of months, I was very, very unwell staying there. And I came back to India for my treatments. And I tried lots and lots of treatments over in India, acupressure, acupuncture. I mean, went around the world looking for treatments because I couldn't walk. My nerve had been compressed. Because I feel when you're mentally and emotionally not happy, it shows on your physical health. So that had so that's what had happened. And that's also the time when I met my spiritual guru. And I always feel when you hit a low point in life, you always can rise much higher. Because, all the time. So I always, when somebody hits a low path in their life, I always tell them, look at it as an opportunity to raise yourself up, to rise and not fall down more and more. Have the courage, have the, will to do the best for yourself. Because end of the day, you are the most important person for yourself. Nobody else matters. You have to live with yourself. Okay.
That's the key of today's conversation, because most of us out here believe that phrase in Hindi, log kya kahenge, what will the society say, and we live our life.
Absolutely. So when I went through my first divorce, in the 1980s, it was not a very common thing. And the type of family I come from, they're very, very, very orthodox. So once you marry, you're married for life. So my father told me, no, I mean, you can't, you just can't, get divorced and stuff. And that was hard. But I said, I'm not going to live with that person. He may be a very nice person, but that's not what I want in life, And so I had a very, very difficult time convincing him, because for him, society mattered a lot.
Right.
And what are the people going to say? Like you said, what will people say? And this and that, But luckily, I've always had fabulous friends. So at that point in life, when my father said, no, you got to leave home if you're going to do all of this. So I said, fine. So I was very lucky to have a friend in Jaipur who was in the aviation industry. So she goes, you know what? I understand you totally. And she got me a job. She goes, you meet my boss, but he's a very, very busy person. So I'll put you on the same flight as him so that, you know, you can have a meeting with him. So he was very nice. He goes, you know, so he was really nice and he was very kind. He goes, you know, you've never lived in India and I have offices around the world. So you can choose whatever you want to be, wherever you want to be, I can set you up. So that gave me a little push in life. You know, it gave me the strength. And also I had worked previously as well. So so it's very important for a woman to be very, you know, financially independent or have the strength to be financially independent, because only then can you make independent decisions. Otherwise, you're dependent on so many people that yourself, you compromise on yourself and your values. You know, so anyway, so my uncles send the message to my dad that, you know, she's already got a job lined up and stuff. So he goes, okay, fine, you know. So then it was all, you know, fine. And I must tell you, even for parents, it's a learning experience, because subsequently I got married again in 97. I got divorced again in 2005, and at that time my father, he took it so very easily. He goes, yes, you're not happy, you just get out of that marriage, you know. So I could see how my father had changed from a strict disciplinarian, you know, worrying so much about the society. He said it's fine, it's absolutely fine. So I've been lucky, I must say, that I have people who understood me and have stood by me, you know.
Right.
Yes.
So tell me, because
Yes.
not, you know, being in India, first divorce in 80s, it was, I'm sure, stigma at that time.
Yeah.
Then
Yes.
divorce the second time in 90s, when again in 90s and 2000s it was not that easy. So besides people who had inner strength, say that no, I need to do this for myself.
Oh yes, because I have been a very, very independent person. I know what I want in life to a certain extent. Of course, you know, whatever is thrown at you, you have to live that, you know, because sometimes your life is already predestined in many, many ways. So you follow that. But you do have that power to do it in a different manner if you want to. And it's always harder. It's very hard sometimes, you know, but if your inner soul tells you to follow that, then you follow that. So I've always followed my inner self. And for that, you know, you have to be very spiritual, I feel. Listen to yourself, meditate. It gives you a lot of strength and teaches you right from wrong. You know, that's what that's what I believe. And also, like you were asking me about my second marriage, it wasn't so difficult at all, I must say, because by that time I was financially very independent. I had worked alone in many countries, and you know, I was very, very independent. In fact, it was much easier, I would say, because I was older. I knew what I wanted and how to do it in a dignified manner, I would say. And that marriage didn't work out because my ex-husband had another woman. So I spoke to the other woman as well. I said, you know, what you're doing is totally wrong. And I guess, you know, everybody has their different view thoughts. And she goes, no, you know, I'm a modern woman. I'm nothing wrong, you know, we can sit and have tea together. I said, you know what? I come from a very modern background as well, having lived outside India all my life. But doing that is got nothing to do with being modern. You know, your values have to be intact with you at all times, you know, and you should know what is right and what is wrong. So the second time round, I told them, I mean, there was ample time given to, you know, do this. And a lot of people told me, but why are you getting divorced, you know? And it's fine. And he's a very wealthy man. Just enjoy his wealth and live with it, you know? Most of us do that. And to me, I would never do that, because what is the difference between a prostitute and me? A prostitute does it for money. And in fact, I am so much more qualified, okay, than she is. A prostitute does it because, you know, her circumstances are so different. She has no knowledge. She doesn't have so much education. She has nowhere else to go. That's why she does it. In my case, I have the world open to me, so why would I stoop so low, just to get, live with a man for the money? So that was, that's where a lot of people, that's where so many people have to change their mindset. And women are to
Yes.
be blamed as much as men. We just cannot blame the men. Oh, he's got some. It's the woman also. I mean, you have to have that self-confidence in yourself that you can do something. Yes, I may not have as much wealth as I did at that time, living, flying first class, whatever. But that doesn't matter. I think your self-respect and dignity is far, far more important, and end of the day, you have to live yourself,
Totally.
and if I want to die, I want to die in peace and with dignity, and also the second time round, they knew a lot. Most of my friends, by that time, you make good friends already. When you're in your 40s or something, you already have a good set of friends, which I did, and they all knew me super well. And I had them standing with me. My family was with me, and they've always been with me. So I've been lucky. I've been super lucky, and that's it. But for the women out there, you got to start somewhere. It's not an easy path, but slowly, once you start giving yourself importance, look at your own self-respect and dignity, the society will give you that as well. Initially, they might give you a few blows, but then it's okay. You learn to live with it, So that's how it is.
So tell me, for all the women out there, because through Healclinic we get a lot of cases where women are in such circumstances themselves and they don't have the confidence. I think most of the times they don't know that, what self-respect means, that what is right, what
That's
is wrong.
true.
So what would be your
That's true.
how do they kind of first figure out this self-respect for them?
See, self-respect starts at a very young age, I think. You have to know yourself, and for that, spirituality also comes in. I feel when you're spiritual, to you, like, for example, idol worship. Okay, we worship the idols and do puja and all. What it is actually? What is idol worship actually? You are identifying yourself with the God, because there is God within you as well. You are a spiritual being. Give yourself that respect. Give yourself that respect and dignity, that you're a good that you're a human being, and you deserve that. Don't think, oh, he's done this for me, thank God, or whatever. No, it's your right to do it. So that's what I believe. When you start somewhere, the women, most of them are too dependent. They need to be self-sufficient. And when self-sufficiency comes in, they start respecting their own self-respect for themselves, I feel.
Right. No, I like what you said in the beginning, that means that if we respect a God or we respect somebody, it means we have it in us with that respect. It's just that instead of respect, we need to look inwards.
Yes, we have to definitely look inwards, otherwise you're lost in you're all the time, trying to fit in with the society. You're trying to give too much importance what the other person says, and not giving enough importance to your own being, and your own being is of the utmost importance,
Right. And I think I would like to pass this message on to all the parents who are watching this or who are going to watch this video later, because it starts from childhood. It starts from the parents, their girls and boys. Self-respect.
Yes, because the parents also have to feed both the genders, whether it's male or female, with love, and tell them to value themselves. Give them words of confidence. Make them confident make them believe in themselves. I have, I don't have children, but my nephews and my nieces are just like my children. And my nephew has young children. We keep giving them lots of love and lots of encouragement, telling them they're so good, because only that's when they develop their self-confidence, And I've been a teacher and teaching young children, and you can make out which child is got love and which child doesn't have love, because there's so many children who are being brought up by servants and everything, then the love is not there. The love which which you get from a parent is missing in their lives. So they grow up very not confident in themselves, not respecting themselves. So that's also important from a young age. So I mean, for parents, spend as much time as you can with your little children, during their growing up years, and yes.
So tell me, what role did spirituality play in your life last 40 years?
Okay, let me start from the very beginning. Okay, when I was 4 years old, okay, we used to have a garden full of roses. Okay, every morning I used to tell my grandmom, no, I will pick up the roses. So I used to take a little thali, put lots of roses in it, and just adorn the gods. To me, at that time, that was spirituality, because the love and the innocence the child has, a young child has, before it reaches out the world and gets, aware of too many things, that is pure love. That is spirituality. And then later on, I would say, let's say maybe in my 20s and all, when I learned more about our mantras, about the Bhagavad Gita and all of these books, religious books I've read, there also I feel the mantras and all are important, because they have certain vibrations in them, which if you keep reciting, they can change the energy around you, and you grow with that, with a good, your more positive energy in you, and with positive energy in you, you tend to think more positively. Then, okay, at a later, then that was in the 20s and the 30s. Then I would say later on, nature is is a big spiritual thing, because you see the rivers. I mean, I've had the privilege of visiting a lot of spiritual places. So for example, when I went to Gangotri, sitting just by the river and meditating, that is so spiritual in itself. Just a river, which is a part of nature, is such a spiritual thing. In the morning every day, I do my Gayatri mantra and put water on the sun. I mean, in the morning, and that is spirituality, because I look at the sun and I tell the sun, you've seen me in every form that I have been created in. I probably was a plant, I was an animal, or whatever I am. I don't remember you, but you remember me, And to me, that is spirituality. I went to Kailash Mansarovar. I mean, there is nothing. It's nothingness out there. There's no temple, nothing. But the vibrations you get there are so uplifting. And I mean, that is spirituality. There's nothing. And I must tell you an incident which happened to me out there. It's a difficult trek, as most of us know. And there was a patch where there was so much snow. And I just couldn't do much. I was just standing there, and I said, okay, I don't know how to go about this place, because everybody in my group was gone. And this lady, she must have been in her 70s or early 80s, with a grandchild of 6. She comes, she holds my hand, and she takes me. I know it was the hand of God. I know it was the hand of God, because within 3 minutes she disappeared and she was nowhere, So, and that touch, I can still remember. So in my life, I mean, I've met people like this who have really, really touched me, and you can feel spirituality in them. In that being, you can feel spirituality. There was another amazing moment in my life, which was in the Kumbh Mela in Allahabad, I think 2007. There, my Guruji used to have a shivir whereby, lots of sadhus will come and eat, a lot of poor people would come and eat, and we fed everybody. So on one such day, there was one man, and I remember him very distinctly, because he was a very shattered clothes, black shattered clothes and everything. After I fed him, he came up to me and gave, Ashirwad. He goes, "Beti, aapko sab kuch hai, अभी आपको एक अनमोल चीज मिलने वाली है, that you're going to receive something very precious. And I thought to myself, oh, I went and told my Swami, I met this person. And I told him, I think my ex-husband is going to give me my alimony or whatever. And 3 months later, my brother, who I'm very, very close to, fell ill, super ill. And certain powers took me to him. And people didn't think he will survive, and he did. And at that point, I knew what that man in black had told me. And the Ashrivad he was giving me, it was for that day, because my brother is the most precious to me. So sometimes you meet people who are very, very spiritual and who take you on a different path altogether. And when you meet them, you realize. Recently, I had gone to Yamnotri, and I met another lady like that, and it was my birthday. So she was sitting next to me, a very elderly lady. And afterwards, there was prasad in my hand. She goes, I've come late. I have no prasad. I said, here, please take. And I said, please give me Ashrivad. You're like my grandmother, because it's my birthday today. Oh, she goes, oh, wow, it's your birthday. I live nearby. Please come. You must have samosas and you must have tea with me and all. I said, and very poor lady. You can make out that she wasn't, very, this thing. But so much love. She goes, I said, but, I have 5 other people with me. She goes, it does not matter even if you have 10 people with me. You come to my hut and I'm going to feed you tea. That love in them, which I think we city dwellers have lost it, because that faith or whatever. And when you go to these places, you can feel the spiritual being in that person. So like that, I have met many people. And I would say, in the city life, it's the young kids who do it to us. If you spend even an hour with a young child, you come back, you will have a smile on your face, even no matter how depressed you are.
Right.
So spirituality can mean different things. It can, nature is very spiritual. People can be spiritual, but you connect with them. And also, it's very, very important to be with yourself at some point in time every day, so that you can realize that spirituality in you, because it's there in everybody. It's just that we get so caught up with a lot of things that we don't realize it. And whether it's through meditation, whether it's through mantras, whether it's through doing whatever deeds or whatever, it's there in us. So that's what spirituality means to me.
I simply love the way you explain spirituality across your life, because it takes a lot of notion and structure which we have created around spirituality. Somewhere we confuse spirituality with rituals, we confuse spirituality with religion. I think the way you have explained is so touching, and I really hope some of us out here start looking at it in our daily lives from the time we get up. Because I think you're someone who breathes in spirituality every of your life, because for you to see spirituality in others and in animals and in plants, nature is not something which each of us can do. That's a special thing that.
Yes. See, when I do my havan during my navratris and all, I do it with my plants around me, and you'll be surprised the way the plants have that energy. And the plants in my thing are always flourishing. And another thing is, I want to share is, in the morning, I always give some grains of rice to the birds and all, because I have a little terrace where they come. And there's so much to learn from them. Earlier, there'll be days when I give out the rice and not a single bird would eat it. And I would say, why isn't it eating it? And I would look, and it'll be either Umavas, it'll be Ekadashi, and they also know by nature that on those days, till a certain time, they don't eat.
Oh, okay.
It's amazing. Yeah, they don't eat, because, and at a certain time, they would come in at a later, when that time period was over, and then they will come and eat. But before that, no. So we have a lot to learn from them as well. And sometimes when I say my mantras outside, you should see the birds. They just come and sit and listen. I mean, I've sent videos of this to my friends and they go, wow, this is amazing. I said, look, all of them are sitting around me and not, I mean, they're sitting intently, so it's how you look at creation. That's what matters. And I've had the good fortune of living in Amarkantak, which is in Madhya Pradesh. It's a small place, so there were a lot of animals and nature around, and it's amazing what all you can learn. And my Guruji used to teach me about plants, and how much the energy they have in them, and what all can they do for us. And there was a time, like I told you, after my first marriage, I was very, very ill, so I couldn't walk. And I had done lots and lots of different medical treatments, and nothing helped. And that's when I met my Guruji. And when he met me, he goes, you'll have to stop food for 1 year. So 1 year I lived on milk and chapati. Okay, that's it. And people thought, like, oh man, you're gonna vanish, because you're so thin, and but actually that was the time when I was glowing and was at my best, healthiest self. And basically all the toxins are removed from your body, and I've always been well after that. So herbs and all of these things have a lot of power. But what's happening nowadays, why they aren't as effective as they can be, is because even for these plants and all, they have to be picked up at certain times, on certain days. The medicines have to be prepared in a certain manner, and only then are they going to be 100% effective. Otherwise, their effectivity is also cut down by 20-30%, and they're not as effective as they can be. And I had experienced another very, very, very nice thing living in the jungles there. The women there, deliver in no time and are back to work. Okay, within like a few hours of delivering, they're back to work. And their labor is like, they don't have to go to hospitals. First of all, they don't have any hospitals around there. So basically, there was this one little twig. When a woman is ready to deliver, this little twig is tied around her waist. Okay, and the baby comes out easily, very smoothly, and the minute it comes out, you have to remove the twig. Okay, and you have to remove the twig immediately. So and that's it. The baby's calm and the lady is fine and she's off to work. And I had asked my Swamiji, I said, wow, this is amazing. Why can't we introduce it to the hospitals and everything in India? He goes, no, we can't, because half the time the doctor is going to be on the phone, and if you leave the twig on for longer than required, the whole uterus is going to come out. Okay, so so there are a lot of things which are getting lost because of not being able to use it in the right manner. So it was a very interesting chapter in my life to go and live there and spend time in the ashram. And I got to see a different side of the world. And because coming from an affluent family, city family out here, it's very different. You go there, you meet these poor people, and everybody invites you home. Okay, now when you go to a rich person's house, because they have so many things to offer you, it takes them at least half an hour to bring tea on the table with the snacks. Whereas you go to these places, they're so poor, they only have one, they probably have mofali or chana or whatever. Immediately, it's brought to you. Okay, and a glass of milk or whatever, because everybody's got cows or goats. Immediately, it reaches you within 5 minutes. And then you look at them, actually they're the rich ones, we're the poor ones, with the amount they have to give. And sometimes I think the fact that we can contribute, or the fact that we can give them something, it's very kind of them to be able to receive it from us. They're doing us charity rather than we doing charity to them. They're showing us more about life. Then we're just contributing a little bit to them, but they're contributing much more to our lives, with their way.
And we feel
So it's been an interesting,
right?
yeah,
And
and we
feel,
think we're doing the, yeah,
yeah,
so that's our ego talking. The minute you think, oh wow, I've contributed this and that, it's your ego talking and making you believe that you've done something good. So
right.
it's nice. Every phase of life, I think, is very important. And I think whatever your desires are, if you're on the right track, they get fulfilled. Because I remember when I was young, I wanted to get married and have children, have lots of children, especially a girl and all. I have no children, but like I said, my brother's children and my sister's children have fulfilled that desire in me. My sister's daughter came to live with me for 3 years. She was living with me and doing her schooling here. And my brother's son is more than a son to me. So I mean, all your desires do get fulfilled, whether if you're on the right track, because you find love everywhere. In fact, one of my friend's daughter, she was about 5 or 6. She came up to me, Masi, are you sad you don't have children? I said, no, I'm not sad. She goes, why? I said, because, I have you. If I had my own children, I will be only looking after my own children. Here, I have so many of you. You come over, your sister comes over, this one comes over, that one comes over. I said, I'm like a Santa Claus with so many children. So she went back home and told my mom, I'm not going to have children ever, okay? Because if I have children, I'll only have 2 children. And now I will have limitless children, So it's good, your thinking, your thought process can change the way you look at life.
Yeah.
No, so, that's, I mean, that's, yeah, so whatever comes your way, accept it with grace and you make the most of it, and in life there will always be ups and downs, always. There is no one who has a perfect life. There's nobody. It's what you make of your circumstances that makes you the person that you are. And another thing is, learn to have time for yourself, live with yourself, because end of the day, that's what you're going to be doing. I see so many people, they're looking outside for that happiness, or pursuing so many things. Have time for yourself. Even when you're working, I tell my friends and all, even when you're working, take time out. Have time for yourself. Sit alone. And only then you can discover your true self.
Very true. Very true. I think what you're
saying,
it's really about, because most of us tend to go into victim modes when something goes wrong. Like, it was very easy for you to
That's right.
Your first marriage didn't work. Physically, you were not able to walk. Right? And I think that's the message I would really like to give to people out there, that going into victimhood doesn't help.
And also, I've been lucky. I've had a lot on my side. I've the most fabulous friends. And like I told you, I have a great family. When I go to the court, I used to go to the 30 Hazari court. And, you have to wait there for very long hours. When you've got a court case going on, you've got to wait. And I used to meet these amazing women. One such amazing woman was, a little lady, a young lady, I would say, who had a child of maybe 1. And who she had she couldn't leave the child anywhere. So she used to bring the child to court. And in the court, there's so many people around in Indian courts and all. It's a very messy place. And poor child, just to, keep him quiet, she will give him a lick of chocolate so that he keeps quiet. Every time he cried, she'll make him lick a little piece of chocolate. And I got talking to her and everything. So she had obviously a bad marriage. Now, for her to walk out, it takes a lot of strength. With a young child and with nowhere to go, it takes far more strength than it would take for me, who has a lot in hand. So I really would meet these children. I would get inspired by them. And there was another such lady I met, who was a teacher, and her husband had died. And so she got remarried again with some trained conductor or something. And, she goes, I was a teacher, physical teacher, very strong and all. After I got married to him, he started beating me up. And my self-esteem just went from a high to a total low. She goes, I thought I was the worst person. I thought this. And she goes, there came my point in my life. I said, what is this I'm doing? I'm so capable. I was a teacher and I was an athlete. And why am I taking all this nonsense from this person? And she goes, one fine day, I found that strength within myself and I walked out. And she walked into nothing. So, there are a lot of these women, and hats off to them, because their lives are much more difficult than your and mine. Much more difficult. When I used to see, she goes, she would ask me, and of course I would dress very simply and go to the court so that, you'd blend in and everything. And they would confide in you, tell you their stories. And the fact that there was somebody to listen to them made so much of a difference to them. That at least there was somebody who believed in them and listened to their story. And I would tell them, it's okay. It happens in life to all of us. Even I'm going through the same stage and everything. She goes, but you also? I said, yes, it happens to every strata of society, So it's been a nice, I've learned so much from them, So that's,
yeah. From the last 40 minutes,
yes.
whatever and I'm sure for everybody who's joined us, it's been extremely inspiring.
Thank you so much.
In case anybody who's joined us right now have any questions for Hoora, please put it in the comment, and we'll see if we can answer those questions. Please, no personal questions based more on the conversations that we have had. So tell me, Hoora, what would be your message to women who are in these situations where they find it difficult to find that inner strength?
Okay, be yourself. Okay, the society is always going to talk about you. Whether you're good or bad, the society is going to talk. For example, even the king, okay, who's there so much good probably for the side, people still talk about that person. But people will forget after a while when there's something new to talk about. So don't lose yourself. Don't lose your identity in the process. Okay, don't let them bring you down. Okay, so be yourself, one. Secondly, face your problems with dignity. Everybody is going to have problems in life. There's no person who will not have problems at all. Nobody has a perfect life. Okay, so just face the problems with dignity. Like I said, have a little spiritual bent of mind. It always helps. Okay,
right.
And that's it. Take on life. Take the goods. And the minute you fall low, think that's an opportunity for you to rise much higher. You can actually rise much higher when you hit a low. I've had so many people talking about me, including my relatives and all. And you know what? Karma gives it back to you. They either have children who've gone through divorces, or they themselves have gone through relationship problems. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't even wish them, like badly or anything. It's just karma. So go to your thing, go through your journey with love, and love your life and live it. Don't just exist. Okay, most people exist. Okay, they don't live. Okay, live your life, because it's a very special gift given to us. That we've got this birth after I don't know how many crores of lifetimes. So make use of it. You're here for a purpose. Live that purpose. And I must say, I don't, another thing, okay, when I got married divorced from my ex-husband, I think there was a reason. Because it was the following year that my brother fell unwell. So my life actually was put to better use. Right. Out there, I would have just socialized and, partied and, then this thing. Out here, my life was more useful. And I came in handy, like it was good. I was able to help his children. and do much more than I would have out there. So have faith in God. He knows where he's putting you and why he's putting you there, you know? And that's all. So just have faith, have good values, be positive, spend time with yourself, and you're fit, you're fine, you know?
So Neelu's asked an interesting question. How did you manage to learn the
Yeah.
Sanskrit scriptures by heart?
Oh, it was very, very tough. Okay. Now I was born, I was born in Jaipur, but I was brought up in Bangkok and I didn't know a word of Hindi. So when I met my Swamiji, we would just communicate through a few words. Okay. And later on, when he told me, Hoora, you have to do Lalita Sahasranam in Hindi. One Diwali, he says, you have to do it, you know. And when a guru tells you to do something, you do it. So that Lalita Sahasranam, which takes me right now about 40 to 45 minutes at the most to do, that time when I did it, it took me about 15 hours. Okay, it was Diwali night, and I sat at 5 in the afternoon. Okay, and I would say ma ra, you know, like that. I was trying to read it out. Sri Matre Namaha, you know, Sri whatever, you know, the things. So it took me so long, and now with practice, I can do it. But the thing is not to give up. And you know what's surprising? At that time, I asked 3-4 people. I said, you know, can you please put it in English for me, translate it for me in English so that's easier for me to read? They go, no, it's too much of a word and it's too difficult. I said, okay. So I had no other way to go. Once I learned it, okay, or was getting there, I found books in English. And earlier when I tried looking for those books, I couldn't find it. So, you know, when the higher powers want you to have this, it's there. So now I have the books in English. So then, the meanings and everything, it's easier for me to learn. But I'm glad I didn't go to the English one first, because then I wouldn't have had the opportunity to learn the Sanskrit. You know, so now I know, I'm not fluent in it, but yes, I still know it. And even the other prayers, other mantras and all, similarly, I learned it through reciting. And reciting without fail every day. He would say, recite this, you know, this many times without fail. So you just got to keep at it. And then you, like anything else in life, you get better and better at it, you know. Just don't give up on it. You know, that goes for anything in life, you know. You just keep at it and, you know, you improve yourself. That's how I learned all of that. But it was a great, all of that was a good phase. I've learned so much. Every phase of life is different. You know, Dipti, that's one thing. And you have to grow. You cannot be stuck on that, you know, what I was 30 years back, I am not that anymore. You know, you got to evolve. You got to evolve, because change is the only constant thing in life. Everything has to change. You know, yourself, like the weather changes, and, you know, you have dark nights, bright mornings. So same with life, that your time changes, everything changes, you know.
No, very true. I think all of us need that. You must practice that, right? Constantly evolving yourself.
Yes. Practice makes a man perfect. And
so Naina says that, Hoora, you're a beautiful person inside out, so inspired by you and your journey.
Thank you so much. But you know what? Every person is inspiring. Every person has so much to themselves. They just have to discover themselves and not get caught up in the rat race. Because the minute, I have my friends, I love my friends. A lot of my friends are party animals, but they know me. I go out and stuff. But at the same time, they know, okay, after a certain time, if she's going to go home, so it's okay. They say, okay, you go home. It's fine now, you know. But I love their company, and then, you know, they enjoy mine too. So obviously that's why we've been friends for over 40-45 years, and, you know, it's nice. But one knows your friends, you know, and you pick and you accept them for what they are, because no two individuals are going to be alike. And every person has a different side to them, and a beautiful side to them. You know, so, you know, be that person that you are, and no false pretenses, and you're fine.
That's so beautiful, and thank you so much for being here today, because I honestly am really inspired by what all you said, and I'm sure there'll be many
Oh,
people
thank
out
you.
there inspired. And that's the whole point of having
Thank
this soul food, like to bring out stories which
Yes, that's
inspires.
why that's why I agreed to do it for you. I said, even if one person gets inspired to follow the right track and live for themselves and do well, do better for the society, because we set the society. It's us. We cannot blame the society. We are the society. We are the ones who are forming the society. So if all of us go about in the right manner, then there's so much, there's so much we can do. And it's a pity that the politicians and politics are using religion to divide us, because actually it could be, it will, because all religions are good. There's no religion which teaches you to do wrong things. It is the politicians and the powerful people who are using it as a tool to divide us instead of uplifting us, and for us in turn to uplift our society. It's really unfortunate, but we can on our behalf do whatever we can for everyone else.
No, totally agree. I think if each one of us can at least start working on ourselves, that
Yes,
itself becomes a movement.
yes, absolutely, absolutely.
So thank you so much for today. Really,
You're
really
welcome, Dipti.
time and coming here. So, and
No,
thank you
you're
to every.
welcome, Dipti.
Sorry.
Thank you so much for calling me, and I'm glad I was here. And if I can inspire people, I'm happy.
And thank you to everybody who's joined us to hear this story. And like Hoora said, we hope that if everybody can take that one small step forward in their life, I think we would be successful in what we are trying to achieve here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and see everybody next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, we again have a special guest, Vishal. His is more of a story. He's from the IT industry, and his story is about how he has used spirituality in his daily life, in his professional life, how he used to view his customers, his deals, and how his whole outlook changed. Like it moved from, a space where he used to bargain, negotiate, come from a feeling of lack, and now he's moved to collaborations, partnerships. So that's the story that we bring next week. So
How
hope to see
amazing. All your stories have been excellent. Huh? The one I listened to Aditya last week, excellent. Again, I mean, how a man, how a girl, a man was trapped in a girl's body, and he's come out. It's amazing and very, very inspiring for people who are in his kind of a position. So very, very nice. I liked watching that.
Thank you so much. And in fact, a shout out to everybody. If you know someone who you think whose story is inspiring and we can share, please reach out to us. Because I do want to continue this series for longer time. The purpose being to, like I said, if anybody's story, different stories resonate with different people. So if we can bring out more and more stories from different aspects, get people from different genders, age groups, strata, and see whom we can resonate with, and make a small movement of our own through this. So,
Absolutely.
So thank you so much, and see you everybody next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.